Now for project 3, we are ready to get into InDesign. Um, we have downloaded images, we have changed resolutions, image modes, and file formats. We have downloaded our fonts, and we have figured out how to load those fonts and check to see if they're available in InDesign. Now we're ready to work on the project. Now I do need to reference this project and what it entails, so I would recommend you do the same. So I'm going to go to class sessions, and I am going to look at the project guidelines, and I want to make sure that I am starting with the right format first. It says that this is supposed to be 7 inches by 5 inches, and it's a horizontal format. Okay, so that has to be what it is. Those are the instructions. You know, if you're given a certain ad space to do in a newspaper, you aren't going to be able to monkey around with that format. It's a set size and a set space. So we open InDesign. If you don't have InDesign CS6, previous versions will work. You do need InDesign for this class, and not having software is not an excuse for not having your work done. So get a hold of the software. As I understand it, a student told me that Adobe, on their adobe.com website, they are, I don't know if this is a limited time or if it's still going on, but they were giving away Adobe CS2, Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, and so on. Adobe InDesign CS2 will work for what we're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new document. If this window is not up in CS2, you go to File, New, Document. But when you first open InDesign, this window comes up and you can just click on Document. Now, InDesign by default may already have some things selected. So one thing it has selected is facing pages. This is not a book, and books have facing pages, so we're going to uncheck facing pages. Another thing is it will probably have letter or some other predetermined page size, and we don't want that. We want 7 inches by 5 inches. And here it's got this weird thing, 51P0. That's 51 picas, 0 points. Type is measured in points and picas. Cool thing is you can simply type in 7IN for that width, and for the height you can type in 5IN. And it will automatically convert it to picas and any remainder points that are left over. Now I will probably go ahead and separate this into 3 columns. I don't know if you've heard about the rule of thirds, but it's nice to start with 3 columns in something this simple. Margins are good. 3 picas is equal to 1/2 inch. You do want margins. You don't want your type going right to the edge unless you're trying to get some impression of crowding something. So this is a print document. Facing pages is off. It's a custom size of 7 inches by 5 inches, which converts to 42 picas by 30 picas. I have gone ahead and made it 3 columns, and I've left the margins at 1/2 inch or 3 picas. Here's what I have. Now, this area is your live page area in InDesign. The black line does contain all printable area. So if it's inside the black line, it's going to print. If it's outside the black line, unless you tell it to print a bleed, it will not print outside the black line. Some people get confused and think the black line is, I don't know what they think it is. They think that the pink line is the edge of the page. That is not true. These are just grid lines with ample margin for thumb space, for type. You don't want type going right to the edges. You can have imagery going right to the edge, which is the black, or beyond the edge. But your type usually stays within this grid. Now, we did load some fonts. I also have images ready from previous videos. Now, I'm going to go ahead and place an image in here. But before I do, I'm going to probably start working with layers. Now, I like working with layers because I can turn them on or off, and if I want to work independently and not have accidentally click on some stuff and mess it up, I like working layers. So if you don't see your layers panel, you can go to Window and choose Layers, and that panel will come up. Now layer 1 is a predetermined layer. It has to start with 1 layer, so it's already got layer 1. I'm going to rename that by double clicking on it. and I'm going to call it image. Okay, so image is on the first layer, and I can create another layer by clicking on this little dog-eared page icon. This is the Create New Layer button. Now this is a Create New button for many things. In this case, it happens to be a layer. Layer 2 comes up. I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to call it Type. So one layer is going to have my image, the other layer is going to have my type. So when I'm wanting to work on the image layer, I need to click on the image layer. Now to place an image in InDesign, which I do have on my desktop, many images in my folder called Jump. This is for Project 3, so you've already seen this, assuming you've actually watched the video. I'm going to place either one of these or even both of them. These are those cliff images. Okay. So I do not open them and then copy and paste. That is not the way we do it in the industry. Do not copy and paste things from other software into InDesign. We always use File, Place. Keyboard shortcut, Command D. On a PC, that'd be Control D. File, Place. Then you go find the image. Now, I'm finding the image. It's on the desktop. It's in my folder called Jump. I click on the image file. Whoop, not the JPEG. I'm using TIFFs. So you have to, maybe I should create a separate folder for TIFFs. I hit Open, and this is called a loaded cursor. I click roughly where I want the image to go. It's not quite big enough for the page, real close though, so I can increase it slightly. You don't want to take an image that's real small and increase it much, but this is really close. So hold down Shift and Command on a Mac or Shift and Control on a PC. So I have those held down right now. Then with the selection tool, looks like a black arrow, I can click and drag and make that image bigger. Now the reason why I hold down Shift and Command and not just Command, Command will stretch your images. You do not want to use stretch graphics. Do not use graphics that are out of proportion. Now I can click and move this image anywhere I want to using the selection tool. If I accidentally click on this target, that is also known as the, what is it called? Oh, content grabber, which kind of can be a pain. The content grabber moves what's in the box, so the box is still there. It moves and crops whatever's in the box. If you don't like the content grabber and it gets in your way, you can always tell InDesign to hide it by going to View, Extras, Hide Content Grabber. What we use for the content grabber instead is the white looking arrow tool, which is called the direct selection tool, and that moves the content of the box. It doesn't move the box itself, it moves the scan, but it does not move the bounding box, which is that blue box. Now I'm going to hit Command Z and get it back to where it was. There we go. Now if I hit the W key, and this is the same on PC or Mac, assuming I'm not in a type box, this will give me the print preview. So here's the print preview. If I were to print now, what this would look like. It does not print the guides or grids. It would just print the image. Now I'm ready to play with type. Now if I don't want to move my image around, I can click on the image layer and click in the blank box next to the eyeball. That is the locking mechanism. So if I wanted to move this now, I can't. I'm clicking and dragging and nothing's happening. Now I'm going to go to the type layer. And what I'm going to do is I like to set my type out here, especially if the image is so busy. So I grab the type tool. Oh, there's some new tools to InDesign. I have to look. These two I haven't used yet, but we're not going to worry about those yet. This new type tool, or old type tool rather, I can click and drag and draw a box, and my word is jump. And so I just type the word jump in after I draw that box. Now notice that the bounding box on this one is red. And you're wondering, well, why is that? Because we had blue bounding boxes before. Don't know if you noticed, but when I was on this layer, if I were to have drawn a type box that's blue bounding box, well, InDesign, it it automatically assigns a color to a layer. So for my image layer, it was automatically assigned blue. For my type layer, it's automatically assigned red. Okay, now I'm gonna unlock that layer, get rid of that box, lock it back, go back to my type box. Okay. Now you want to play with different typefaces, so you want to have loaded a few. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, so I'm going to select the type. I can double click on it. I'm holding down Shift and Command, and on a PC this would be Shift and Control, and I'm holding down the greater than symbol, which is found on the period key on the keyboard. This really increases the size of that and gets it to fit better within that type box. What you don't want is you don't want giant type boxes and just a little bit of type in them. You want to nestle the type within the type box. If it disappears, that means that the box is too small for the type. So just increase that box size. Another way to increase type real quickly is once you have your box in position, is hold down Shift and Command. On a PC this would be Shift and Control. You have to hold down both. Don't just hold down Control. It'll bring things out of proportion. And you can click and drag, and there you have a quick way to increase your type. I'm going to copy this. If you hold down the Alt key, whether it's PC or Mac, and drag, it copies and pastes. So you no longer have to go to Edit and copy. Oops, excuse me, Edit to copy. Let me undo that. Edit, copy, and edit, paste. And you notice when it pastes, it pastes it wherever it wants, usually right in the dead center of your visual area. So I like just clicking on something, holding down the Alt key, and dragging it. Now, I'm not going to get into a lot of different type choices here because of the amount of time that would take. So I am going to play around, however, with uppercase, lowercase, and a mix of upper and lowercase. And you can see that when I used all uppercase, the bounding box is too small. Oops, don't let it rotate on you, by the way. Oh, no wonder the bounding box is too small. There we go. All right. Now, we have a bigger challenge than what you might think here. We have an image with a lot of texture. So as soon as I take this type and I put it over this image, it starts to lose the effect. So we may have to put the type somewhere else, such as down here. And again, I'm holding down Shift and Command, or on a PC it's Shift Control, and I'm clicking and dragging. You can see how and I'm letting it off. They're not selected now, not Shift and Control now. I'm just moving stuff around. You can see how there's a lot of ease to InDesign once you know some of these keyboard shortcuts. Again, Shift and Command to move the box or to adjust the box, and then to move it, you just click and drag it. I'm going to hit the W key because I'm not in a text box right now, and this is what this would look like.